Hi there. Thanks for tuning in and always being a part of our conversations here. That was fellow Ghanaians. Returns tomorrow here on Prime Morning. News Flash is proudly brought to you by Franco Trading Enterprise. Still phones pop up here, and this is where we get into conversation that matters most to you. You can also share your thought, and you go on Facebook. We're streaming live over there. Our WhatsApp line is also active. You can let us know what you think. We'll be reading all your messages here on the show. So from now, we're getting into the newspapers, and then we'll get into our big issue for today. So the Kpandai vacant seat brought a lot of pandemonium yesterday in the floor of Parliament. A lot of issues, the minority and majority, fist caps, and you probably want to say tug of war, because there was a push and pull. This one pushes this person, and they push it to the other end, and all of that. And many of you have, said so many things about the Parliament House, ever since that situation happened. For the last 5 years, I think we've gone through a certain period in our Parliament House, from the levy situation to the voting situation and all of those things. So now it's beginning to look like anytime these things come up, it is not new to people anymore. Based on some of the comments that I read on social media, in some of the videos that we've seen, we'll be sharing some of the videos with you here, so you also get to see if you actually missed what happened in Parliament yesterday. We'll try and share some of the videos with you, so you also get to see what exactly happened. But Franco Trading Enterprise is asking you to buy from us this Christmas season. We've got all that you need when it comes to your gadgets, and we're talking about your phones, your CCTV cameras, your televisions, your blenders, your microwaves, your ACs, any home appliance that you need. The best place you should get them from is Franco Trading Enterprise. We've got the quality for you, and also Christmas is here, so we're running some promotions. You want to take advantage of that so you can buy some items at less cost. And so this is what you have to do. Download the Franco Trading app on Google Play Store, or you can also visit our website is www.francotrading.com, and you can also get all the info you need over there. If you're looking forward to buying from us, you need to go check our website out, and you know what exactly you need and where you can get them. Customer service is top notch, and I always say Franco Trading Enterprise will serve you and serve you well, all right? So please do well and make your way there and grab yourself any of the items that I've mentioned. Indeed, you can also buy and give to someone who's also looking forward to a gift from you this Christmas season. It can just be anything, It can even be a phone accessory. Just go there and get yours. Quality is guaranteed, and that's Franco Trading Enterprise. Franco Trading Enterprise says still phones, Very well. Well, I'm going to get to the front page of the newspapers real quick. I've got my guest seated as well, and then we'll take a look at the major issue for this morning. But of course, expect that the Kpandai situation will dominate the front pages of many of the newspapers that we'll be reading today. I'll start off with Daily Graphic, and it says on the front page, Ghana loses $3 billion annually to corruption. Shraj Commissioner says so. And Dr. Omanebuame's funeral is on Saturday and Sunday. That's also captured on the front page of Daily Graphic. Away from that, Kpandai Seat creates chaos in Parliament, and that's captured on the front page. Like I mentioned, I expect that it dominates most of the front pages of the newspapers. Now, away from that, let's get to Daily Guide, and it says 90 illegal forex traders arrested, and TCOP Lydia Nyako Tonko is captured on the front page. 2026 Pan-African Cardiothoracic Surgery Summit launched, and it's got Professor Charles Yanka in picture with some dignities as well. We won't abandon you, NPP to Enyindam. That's Honorable Matthew Enyindam, who is supposed to be the MP for Kpandai, but as it stands right now, that seat has been declared vacant in the House of Parliament, and there's a rerun that is supposed to be happening in a couple of days. Now, pandemonium in Parliament, court retains Mustafa Hamid, 9 others bill terms, and that's the front page of the Daily Guide today. Let's look at the Ghanaian publisher, and it says Ghana to lose $630 million with lithium royalty cuts, and the minority demands withdrawal of Kpandai vacancy notice and reject the call of sycophants. Ras Mubarak tells Ghana Mahama to refuse term extension. And that's also been in the conversation for the last how many months now. Everybody's looking at that. And some people still believe that the president should be looking at a second term. But he says he's not the one that will go for such a decision. Now, Cybel Energy makes history with Guyana deal. That's also on the front page of the Ghanaian publisher. The insight is here, and it says Tusako affirms ownership, dismisses Nungwa's over farmlands, and SMG blasts ECOWAS for backing repression and the democratic decline in Benin. And also, Elapai laments constraints faced by Ghanaian businesses, and unpredictable rainfall affects crop yield and famine shadows. Eastern Nzima chiefs appeal to Mahama IGP over alleged political interference, and amid mass protests in the West, Israel's military footprint expands in Eastern Europe, and Algeria holds conference on the crimes of colonialism in Africa. Some stories on the front page of Insight around the African, across the African continent. So you can just also grab a copy and read about them. The Daily Gist is here, and it says, plot to kill special prosecutor Kissi being lied. Muntaka says no police record indicates that. Chaos erupts in parliament over Kpandai Seat, and government blows $10 billion to rescue city, and Ghana likely to lose $630 million in new lithium 5% royalty deal. Kufuor marks 87th birthday with NPP presidential aspirant, and NDC plotting to amend constitution with majority MPs upon Nkrumah wants, and the Cybel Energy secures oil block in Guyana. That's also captured by the Daily Gist. The Accra Times says maintain national interest as priority, Babin tax new MPs, and at long last, Kufuor blast Akufo-Addo says some of his policies did not make sense. David Adenze Kanga goes home, will be buried this weekend, and the speaker gave to University of Ghana students with the hotspot comfort zone. Automodern DVLA Center for Nov Daye through effort of MP, and tribute to a memory of the late Nana Konadu Ajman Rawlings, mother in many respects and a force of nature. Speaker Gagin speaks on that. The Accra Times reports. You can get a copy and read all about it. The last one for me will be the new finder, and it says bond market turnover rises 54% to 2.47 billion Ghana cedis, and GTA Gold Board launch festive promotion offering visitors a taste of Ghana, and government orders independent audit as road fund debt hits 8 billion Ghana cedis. Ghana retains 6 ports among Africa's top investment destinations. That's also the new finder. So at one point you're seeing some progress, and another point there's retrogression, in terms of the economy, turnovers, and all of those things. So sometimes you're tempted to believe that, some of the things that we believe would actually change the fortunes of this country might never necessarily, happen. But it's all good. We're still looking at how we can progressively, as one people, and collectively move this nation from where it is to even a more, better place. So we'll definitely get there. But this morning, News Flash is proudly brought to you by Franco Trading Enterprise, still Phones Papa Path, and we're grateful to them for always supporting and holding us up, and you can also make a purchase as Christmas is just around the corner. We've got 15 days, and you've got 15 days to make that decision. Walk into any of our branches and make yourself, a purchase of any of our gadgets. I mean, we're talking about phones, we're talking about CCTV cameras, we're talking about blenders, microwaves, even your televisions, man. We've got the biggest television that you can also get to, enjoy. So we're going to be taking a look at what happened in Parliament yesterday. But let me quickly introduce my guest, and then we can take that. So by benefit of, our viewers out there, those of you who didn't really see what happened over there. Joining me this morning here in studio, I've got the Honorable Dickson Adomako Kissi. He's here as a former MP for Anyaa Sowutuom, and it's been a while that I saw him. Now he's been very busy on the road, with campaign and all that. Honorable, good to see you again, man. It's been
Same here. I'm happy to see you. It's been a while, admittedly, and forgive me for being away for a little bit. Yeah, but I'm happy to be here. Likewise, these bad boys who are with me.
All right, thank you very much for making time for us this morning. We've also been joined this morning by Dr. Dramani Bukari. He's Deputy Chief Executive, NPA. Doc, Good to see you.
Good to see you. Yes, good to see you. And good to see my colleagues.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, my brother. I hope you're well.
Yes,
good morning. I hope you're well.
Yes, fine.
And good morning to our cherished viewers.
No tag of
and
war.
And to you.
Oh,
absolutely.
Tag of war, yeah. Well, it's early days yet. We might just get there. You never can tell. It's too early to say that.
No tag of war.
Oh, is it?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Maybe it happens only in the House of Parliament. Anyway, also joining us this morning, Richard Suma is here with us. He's Deputy General Secretary for the United Party.
Yeah.
The only alternative. The alternative.
The only.
Oh, the
only. The primus inter pares. Among all the opposition parties, we are the best option.
Stronger enough?
Yes, strong enough. Yes, strong enough.
I see.
More than
we are putting all the structure. We are putting all the structures in place to make it very competitive.
You don't have time,
Oh yes, we don't have time, but we are almost through. So by the early first quarter of next year, we should be done with almost all the administrative and the structure work. Then we'll move to the next step.
Okay.
So we are on course. We are on course. We are on course.
Okay. We're here. We're always going to be looking out for an alternative that would.
Yeah, we need it so badly.
After primaries, we'll buy them. Don't worry. Right now, we're focused on presidential primaries.
We've got it all planned out.
We'll admit them back.
No, I like the first word you used, which was that you were going to buy them.
We buy them.
It's a brokerage.
So
it's a brokerage.
That would be expensive anyway. That would be very expensive, but I'm sure we'll get there. Yesterday, there was a declaration. I mean, I'm sure by now you already know that the Kpandai seat has been declared vacant in the House of Parliament, but that will bring a lot of issues yesterday in Parliament House. Now, the minority was strongly against the business of Parliament yesterday because they believe that that situation of Kpandai seat being declared vacant had to be looked at. Now, the majority wanted to actually go on with the issues of the House, and with all that happened, they still went ahead and put the issues in the House of Parliament. And there was a point that you saw the Speaker looking at what was happening, and I was just imagining what was going through his mind. But let's take a look at some of the videos so you can appreciate the conversation even better.
That was the level of chaos that erupted in Parliament Tuesday night as the NPP minority disrupted proceedings for hours, demanding the Speaker suspend the clerk's letter to the Electoral Commission declaring the Kpandai seat vacant. Speaker Alban Bagbin was forced to suspend sitting.
There is a need for us to have a conclave where the Speaker will preside over the discussions at the conclave and then mediate for us to come to consensus.
When the House reconvened, the Speaker announced he would rule on the matter later, a decision that angered the minority who launched a fresh 3-hour protest, vowing to shut down all government businesses until their demands were met.
To the extent that you want to twist our hands, to the extent that you have conspired to twist our hands, I put it to you that government business will suffer. So, we are not doing any business. We are not going to cooperate with you until Kpandai is resolved. And we are telling you this.
But Majority Leader Mahama Yarega refused to yield.
It's not possible. No matter how much you chant, no matter how much noise you make. In fact, even if you come and stand on my seat here, I will still state my position so that the Speaker can give his ruling.
Despite the minority standing, chanting, and banging desk for hours, the majority pushed through the turmoil and approved several budget allocations. All eyes are now on the minority's next move when Parliament resumes today. Carlos Caloni, Joy News, Accra.
All right. right, so that's what happened in Parliament yesterday. And there are a lot of videos which are circulating on social media. And you may want to give your perspective about those videos based on what you see and which time that, those videos came out. Over 3 hours, Parliament had a standstill. And that's what we're looking at this morning. Honorable, let me start off with you. Did you expect the declaration of the vacant seat pushing us into what we actually experienced yesterday, first of all? So
let me dribble into or go into the main issue which led to this. As we all know, I think a decision was made by the High Court with regards to Kpandai, based on a petition filed by Wakpao, who is a former MP for that constituency. And there was controversy about the gap of about 3,300 votes. And then, is it 40 or so polling stations? The judgment threw out the results. Granted, in the past, sometimes reruns have been done at just a few polling stations where there was an issue. But in this case, owing to a number of erroneous reports, or as it is, owing to the judgment, the judge's own discretion, he decided that he would do away with the entire election, which begs the question about the integrity and then the rights of the people who cast their ballot on the day of election. That's a year ago. One, what this does is that it literally puts notice to the EC and the Parliament. But in the past, knowing very well how things work, it's usually typically the Electoral Commission who, as it is, informs the Speaker of the decision by the court. And then the Speaker then takes a decision based on, the information from the EC.
Of the case, if you will.
But as it stands now, I think that because the Parliament was also in court for this case, based on the petition that came, Parliament was a party to this whole court proceeding. And so they got, apparently, I understand that they got notice from the High Court, which then afforded the Speaker the opportunity, without notice from EC, to declare the seat vacant. I must admit, the Speaker waited for 7 days, which, as it is, allowed for hope for the court to decide whether there'll be a stay of execution beyond the mandatory 7 days. I haven't heard anything, one, from Electoral Commission, if they've even received the High Court's notice. Two, if there's been communication from EC to Parliament. That also is, either it's because they're under petition or whatever it is. I'm clueless as to what's happening with the Electoral Commission's communication. And I'm deeply concerned that from an administrative standpoint, they owe it to the public to inform us. One, there was a court order saying that there'll be an election. What is happening? Is the EC going to run this election 30 days after the High Court declared? And if so, has nominations been opened? All of these things, well, maybe I haven't read, but I sense, troubling times with regards to that seat, in the sense that a very important personage or institute in all of this is the Electoral Commission. And unfortunately, though we are relying on them to communicate to the general public, not necessarily just the parties involved, it's been lacking, very lacking. And this then brought up this whole, big question that, one, our party sees the ruling as very unfavorable, unjust, and in as much as we think that the declaration was made for Michael, if there was even going to be a rerun, barest minimum, it should have been the stations in contention. We did the same thing with Ablekuma North. Though the party did not even go with it, at least I think that, annulling many centers that were okay by virtue of the few is very unjust. I mean, in many circles, it's like one bad apple that means that the 99 apples are all going. I mean, it doesn't, that's not how justice works, we think. Because those were cast and certified to be okay. So what really happened and why the dramatic departure from what we know to be the trend with judicial decisions with regards to elections and to overturn the votes of many is not an easy thing. And we think that should be really looked at, for one man, literally the judge, to overturn several thousands of votes. And I mean those places where even the petitioner did not seek relief about. I mean, is I think overreaching. And these are the brunt of our whole argument that one, the judgment was unfair, and two, we strongly believe that the polling centers that were in question, the total votes there would not vary. So that is another very important thing. If the centers, and hear me out, if the total votes of that place would vary the entire election results, then it would have mattered. But when you do the math, those places that were in contention cannot overturn unless the other guy gets entirely 100%, which is within the statistical probabilities not possible. It's highly unlikely that all the NPP, sympathizers will suddenly go green. I mean, it's just impractical under any circumstance or any.
So it's possible what we're seeing in the House of Parliament, we're going to be seeing it more.
I worry when I see parliamentarians doing what happened, because we should be a house where we actually do intellectual discuss, and this happens when you feel slighted and you feel that you're not being heard, and then you also feel that things have been tipped against you, and it's like playing a game with fewer cards than your opponent, and that is what has happened. But in as much as the minority has showed their protest, it leaves very little for the speaker to reverse his comments with regards to this. I mean, Parliament by itself cannot overturn High Court rulings, whether retrospective or however. We are not empowered. We don't have the authority. We don't have the mandate. Ours is to make rules, for the citizenry, and then the enforcement bit is in a different arm. So as it stands now, our only best bet would be to channel this to another court, appeal, and then later on to the Supreme Court. Or you can just go straight. But either way, the clock has been set by this judge who gives us 30 days. So as I sit here, two things go through my mind. Will the MP, Michael... Matthew, now stand alone or stand with the party? And then also, what's the party's position, really? In principle, the party should not partake, in principle. But I'm also curious, based on the happenings in Ablekuma North, where the MP felt strongly that, a showing will improve the chances, and it's a very tough situation.
We'll get into that more a bit later, but let me take the thoughts of Doc as well. Doc, are you happy how we're looking at Parliament House right now?
Well, I think that the happenings within Parliament yesterday are an eyesore. We do not expect of our honorable members of Parliament to be conducting themselves in such a manner. Mind you, parliamentarians are there on behalf of the people of this country, specifically on behalf of the people of the constituencies that they represent. The business that was before the House yesterday goes to the core of the livelihoods of the people of this country. And if you ask me, that should have reigned supreme above all else. That should have reigned supreme. Because, look, we cannot come with government business intending to approve expenditure for various departments, agencies, and ministries. And all you care about was a single seat, which is now in contention, which does not really actually make any much difference in your parliamentary strength within the House. In fact, for the rest of this fifth parliament of the Fourth Republic, it won't make a lot of substantial sense. It won't make any much difference. So for me, what we saw yesterday was seeing parliamentarians, and particularly, because I ought to be fair, and particularly parliamentarians on the NPP side, putting their parochial interest above the interest of the state. Look, what was happening yesterday was not just approving expenditure of the reset agenda. It was approving expenditure of legacy projects that their government had established, including approvals of expenditure for the free SHS program, approvals for the Agenda 111 hospitals to continue, approvals for interchanges that they had started to continue. So for me, it was not just about new projects.
They were aware of all this?
They were, of course. This would often, he's a former parliamentarian.
There's a situation of
government business. Government business.
If you look at how they're also looking at the issue with the Kpandai seat.
No, listen to me. Look, you may have your grievances, but in all our lives, when you have challenges, you do a scale of preference, right? You look at what is important, of utmost importance to you, and then you place a priority on it. Is it a case that the NPP yesterday, with all these very monumental matters before them, it was only Kpandai that was topmost in their scale of preference? Would that be the case? Look, many of the things that are happening today have happened before. In terms of the grievances and concerns that's being raised or that are being raised about people not being happy regarding the judgment of the High Court. We saw that in the Jachi Kwesi case. What was the attitude of the opposition, of the majority then, in the Jachi Kwesi case? What was they were all excited. They were all looking forward to it. Unfortunately, they had a government that was misconducting itself, and the people saw the need to retain the Achikweshin at the time. Otherwise, the entire state machinery was marshaled against that individual. Look, today as we speak, many of the matters that a shadow is being cast upon are very clear. Number one, did the High Court have jurisdiction over that matter? That's not in question under Article 99(1) of our Constitution. Number two, once the judgment has come, what happens? Look, once the judgment has been issued by the High Court, Parliament is obligated under Article 1255 of the Constitution, obligated to declare. So it was not a matter of discretion for the Speaker to say that I will not. When the mandatory period elapses, and look, they have filed a certiorari under the supervisory jurisdiction of the Supreme Court. They have filed a stay of execution under the Court of Appeal under Article 132. But the point is this: under Order 50 of CI 47, which is the civil procedure rules, a stay of execution, just a mere filing of a stay of prosecution, does not stop Parliament from declaring exactly until the substantive matter has been decided upon by the High Court, as well by the High Court of Appeal. Once they do, and that judgment is in your favor, then they will stay execution. But once they have not, Parliament is obligated to declare. The Electoral Commission is obligated to also open or issue notice of polls, and within 30 days, the elections must have been concluded. The Constitution further makes provision.
Are we worried about how the...
No, we are not worried. It was only yesterday. That the seat was declared vacant. So this we will see.
The Honourable believes that at this point the EC should have even spoken.
The EC, well, so again, that may talk about the attitude of the leadership of the Electoral Commission. That's also
in question.
Which is also in question. And this has been in question not today, particularly the conduct of the Electoral Commission. Leadership has been in question not today. Then, when it suits the opposition today, they were all in support, 100% of that leadership. But not too long ago, I saw that they were also raising issues. They started to raise issues. And I'm sure they will raise further issues. So for me, a number of things, there's a certain kind, you see, that's why when we speak about the reset agenda, it is for all Ghanaians to reflect deeply about it. Look, so many things in this country are not going in the certain direction. It doesn't matter which government is in power. Once the opportunity is provided for us to reflect and change direction and ensure that we are moving in the right path or course, all of us must embrace it. We can critique the government for what it would have done wrong, or we can critique the approach by which the research agenda will be done. But for me, I believe strongly that in fact, every well-meaning Ghanaian of this country knows at the deepest of his heart that we do deserve a reset in this country. And it's not just a reset in governmental structures or at a political level. It's a reset at all levels of our lives. At all levels, including our individual conduct as citizens of this country, including the authority that is bestowed and the opportunity that's bestowed on people in leadership positions to serve this country. So for me, look, the hue and cry about whether or not the judge at the High Court has been fair in the judgment that he issued, it is a matter of constitutional right for all of us to critique it. So everybody is at liberty, once the judgment has been issued, to critique it. But for me, the higher courts, because that's only the court of first instance when it comes to parliamentary proceedings. The higher courts, the Court of Appeal, the Supreme Court, still provides opportunities for us to further litigate, in fact, for the NPP to further litigate that matter, and eventually, perhaps, they will get judgment in their favor. But if they don't,
the way they didn't.
Exactly. But before then, they must prepare.
Okay.
And go for the elections. That's the reality. They must prepare.
We'll come back to that issue again, and maybe the
brooding over spilled milk.
Okay, we'll get back to the issue of, I mean, yesterday, with or without them, Parliament still went ahead to do what they have to do, approve the budget and allocations and all. We'll look at that also here. But let me go to Richard. Richard, is this what you foresee our Parliament House getting into? Now it's even becoming a broken record to say that you are disappointed the way Parliament behaves. And all parliamentarians behave in the House of Parliament, because the moment you say it and you go, the next moment another thing happens again, and you don't know whether to say you are still disappointed or not, because it's more like it doesn't even make sense anymore.
Well, first of all, I would like to say good morning to all your cherished viewers, to say good morning to my colleague panelists, and to say that there is an upcoming program, which is the African Development Summit, which is happening at Kempinski. That is 16 to 17. It's African Development. It's a free attendance anyway. Okay. It is being organized by Alan Kojo Chairmantain, because we're looking at the fact that Africa need to take their own destiny into their hands, because you see, we've been blessed copiously with all the natural resources, with the human resources. We have everything in Africa, but yet still we are becoming a stooge of the West and the East and everywhere, because you see, we can really not do anything by ourselves. So we really need to look within, trade among ourselves, and see how best we can take our own destiny into our hands. So we are inviting the media, the CSOs, corporate organizations to come join for us to discuss how we can move Africa forward.
Awesome.
So on this issue of Parliament and the brouhaha arising, yes, Parliament is a house of honorable men, but nevertheless, they are all human beings. They have their own instincts. So sometimes it can trigger out of control. But then again, we must ask ourselves, their concern that are being raised, is that the appropriate forum to raise their concern? Is that the appropriate medium or approach to go about it? Is there no other better alternative to address your grievances if you feel like you are being shortchanged as far as the Kpandai seat is concerned? If you feel like, yes, something untoward is happening, for which reason you are not given a fair playing ground, therefore you have some resistance or you have some agitation, is that the appropriate forum, especially listening to Doc and what was being discussed on the floor of Parliament? You see, now government presented a budget. The next phase is that the budget report has to be presented. Aspect of it has to be debated, looked at, and all this, and approved, so that disbursements can be made. Now, that suggests that the disbursement that they are talking about cut across the entire nation. It is not limited to only the NPP strongholds or the NDC stronghold, because if something is about Agenda 111, obviously it's about the entire country. If you are talking about store projects, interchanges and so forth and so on, it's about the entire country. If you are talking about free HSS, which the budget has been provided, it has to be approved, it's about the entire country. So I'm not too sure whether the agitation that came up in Parliament, the forum was appropriate. It's actually not appropriate, because you see, if they have any grievances, they could have used any other medium to do so. But then again, if you look at the whole brouhaha surrounding this Kpandai seat, it's quite mind-boggling. Why is it mind-boggling? Because, yes, of course, the petitioner was seeking remedy on about 41 polling stations. Now, the judge says that many untoward things happened, which was flawed. Therefore, the entire election process in Kpandai constituency should be nullified and then rerun. Now, if you are talking about rerunning the entire constituency election, if you are not careful, you may end up disenfranchising some people. Why am I saying so? Because it's not everybody who cast their vote in the last election who resides in Kpandai constituency there. Some are residing in Accra, some are residing in other places. Therefore, if you are asking them to come back and cast their vote, perhaps some may not be able to do what? Go back and cast their vote. So that means that you have disenfranchised them automatically. But then again, too, we are trying to build institutions that work. We are trying to build systems that work. So if assuming something untoward happened during the election in the 2024 process in Kpandai, which really was chaotic, which really undermined the integrity of the election that took place over then it begs for answers, definitely so. Okay, so if in the discretion of the judge, he thinks that the entire process was flawed. Even though the petitioner identified 41, but looking into the merit of the case, perhaps the judge wouldn't have just sat in his office and decided that I'm nullifying the entire election, let them rerun it all over. I'm sure per evidences that were submitted to him, he realized that it is not only in the 41 police station, but perhaps it has escalated beyond the 41 polling station. Therefore, I'm trying to nullify it entirely for us to rerun the election. It may not be completely out of place. It may not be completely out of place, especially when we are trying to provide an institution and an election process that will be shredded in integrity. Okay, so if we want to build an electoral process that will be defined by integrity, then we must not leave any stone unturned. Therefore, if anything, no matter how minute it is, if it happened and for that reason it justifies the annulment of an entire election, so be it. So be it, so that going forward, we can be able to at least dot the I's and cross the T's to make sure that we avoid such things into the future. But then again, we are also of the view that we should be able to have election tribunals, okay, so that it should be established that when we are going to an election, this election tribunals is going to be established across all the constituencies. So anything that happens immediately, they look into it. Not for us to wait after about 11 months down the line for you to then now say that we are nullifying an entire election. We should go back and cast our vote. Do you know it can be a recipe for disaster? It can become a recipe for chaos at the constituency level. Because don't forget that sentiments are at play. So if, for instance, we sincerely believe that nothing untoward happened, the election was free, we casted our vote freely, and at the end of the day, you are telling me that you are nullifying my result. So what about those who are supporting the current MP? Do you think they are going to accept the decision hook, line, and sinker? Obviously not. They are not going to accept it. Even I hear the traditional council in Kpandai calling on government to really step in and stop this rerun completely taking place. Because obviously it's going to affect them as well. And if you are saying that it should go strictly by a rerun, then how are we going to disseminate the information to all the constituents and explain to them step by step what is the justification for which reason we are going for a complete rerun? Because all that they are hearing is from the media. Maybe those of us who have the opportunity to sit on TV and radio, it is we that they are hearing from. So, for instance, NCCE, if NCC is also an arm of government, isn't it? If NCC is supposed to quickly step in and go and do proper community-based education as to why there is the need for us to rerun the election, I'm sure tempers might come down.
You think that will be effective enough?
It may, because you see, for us to just
taking decision that this is where they stand and.
But I'm saying that, if the court, for instance, there was an application for a stay of execution, that whatever the High Court has proposed, don't trigger it. Let us wait, go to the appeal process, and probably get to what? The Supreme Court. If the Supreme Court also decide that, yeah, there is an absolute need for a rerun, then we go by it. But what I'm saying that because there could be a remedy for chaos, people need to really understand why there is the need for the rerun, so that it wouldn't be like you are forcing it on them to accept the rerun by any means possible. Are you getting my argument? That is why we are of the view that if assuming the tribunals are there, this issue shouldn't have traveled beyond 3 months. Because then we are still in the election mood. We just came out of election, so anything that decides or is decided on within a period of 3 to 4 months, it will still sync well with the people. But for people to be going about their normal duties, respectfully working, some who went to cast their vote have come back to Accra, and then all of a sudden you say that there is the need for a rerun, so they should go back and cast their vote. What precedent are we setting? But in a nutshell, this is just a dose of the NPP's old medicine that they are giving back to them. You see, when you have power and you feel that power is vested in you, therefore you can do anything that pleases you, don't forget that power is transient. The moment you lose that power and somebody also takes over, that power is equally vested in them, so they can take any decision that pleases them. So for instance, whatever transpired at Parliament House yesterday, the majority still went ahead and did their job. So meaning that what you did was just a drop in the ocean. It never affected the process in any way. So are you damaging your own reputation, or you are fighting for the interest of who and which people exactly? Are you fighting for the interest of the people of Kpandai constituency, or you are fighting the interest of the MP in question? Who exactly are you fighting for? Are you getting my point? Yeah. Because whatever they were supposed to discuss there, perhaps the people of Kpandai constituency are also going to be beneficiaries of it. And here lies the case: you are not ready to allow that system to progress so that the people of Kpandai can also benefit from whatever budget was being approved. And you are going on this tangent. You are creating a chaotic environment that will not be good for the reputation of the party. Because as we speak now, NPP is no longer a party that is so attractive to the people. Because look, everybody believes that we need to give this government a bit of time. We need to give them that opportunity to trigger this reset agenda that they promised us. And like Doc is saying, the reset agenda shouldn't only be about institutions. We, the individuals, who must buy into the reset agenda, because look, government can propose anything on this planet Earth to her. But if the citizens themselves don't buy into it, they are not willing to participate in it, how effective will it be? Okay. For instance, this Akuko Nkitinkitin program that they are rolling out, if the citizens themselves are not willing to participate in it, what is government going to do with the 3 million beds that they are providing? Are you getting my point? That means that everybody must be carried along. Everybody must be whipped in line, so that when we do A, the A will be able to move us into B, the B will move us into C, the C will move us into D. So at the end of the day, we know that we are moving in that cycle to get to Z. Are you getting the point? Yeah. But if we don't do things in this direction, and we expect everything to come from government, and government should be able to do everything for us to sit back and only criticize, then we are not being fair to ourselves. So in the area of the election of a new MP in Kpandai, the cost, have we made provision for it? Do we have provision made for it? Who is going to fund it? The rerun. The rerun. Who is funding it? Does Electoral Commission have sufficient budgetary allocation to conduct another election? Or government is now going to recapitalize them to do the organization of the election? So we need to be fair when we are doing things. And then the precedent too that we are setting. Tomorrow, another person will come and say that, oh, because I was not informed that they are moving the coalition center to this place, and therefore I am also petitioning for some annulment of some polling stations, and for us to go and say, oh, we are annulling the entire election process, it may become a conduit for us to follow suit. Because if you are not careful, subsequent election, MPs or contenders will misbehave, and they will do any other thing, because they will tell you that yes, in 2024, we seek for a remedy for 41 polling stations, and our entire election process was nullified. So if today I'm seeking for 42, and you are telling me that I should go strictly by the 42, we can also make a sufficient justification that, look, annul the entire election for us to rerun it. All right. Very well. Thank you, Richard. You can also join us here on the show and send your thought to our WhatsApp line. We'll read them. News Flash is proudly brought to you by Franco Trading Enterprise. So, folks, Papa Pafio, we are looking at the issue of Parliament yesterday, the chaos in Parliament yesterday, and it's all had to do with the vacant seat that has been declared, the Kpandai seat that has been declared vacant. And so I want to look at it. But yesterday, we still went ahead with business. The Parliament still did what they had to do. The majority is still holding the neck of the minority.
Well, in truthfulness, we don't have the numbers on the minority side to stall government business. Literally, we don't. And there's nothing we can do about that at this point in time. At best, we can make arguments that are cogent, either in support or against a certain governmental decision. But if it falls on deaf ears, then it does.
So now you're going to continue doing this, even though it won't bring you the results you want? Why not just allow things to just...
No, in politics, you don't just allow things to fly.
But you don't get the result.
You make your case, and then you use all means possible to get ahead. And I think...
And that's effective enough?
Not necessarily effective. Sometimes the graphics matter. Okay. Sometimes the wailing, the crying. I mean, there are so many ways to kill a cat if you... yeah. But in summary, I think that two key things.
Yeah.
And hear me out, Mother Ghana. If the laws of this country over time becomes so party-colored, to the extent that even when you've committed murder, because you belong to a certain party, you might be let go. That will lead us to chaos. And the integrity of our legal system will collapse. And we need to be very careful about that path. I'm reminded by what the National Security Boss formerly said, the former Minister for National Security, when it was 7-0.
Yeah.
He came out and he said that no, perception about how justice is delivered, if it goes off, can be very injurious to our democracy. So for that matter, I'm pleading, with our legal fraternity. I'm not a lawyer. That if the indices for measuring the quality of judicial decisions drops, then we will be nearing chaos and anarchy. And looking at the nature of our region now, in the sense that attempted overthrows and things like that, with the greatest of respect, both to the NDC and the NPP, we need to tread cautiously to do what is important to safeguard this democracy that we have. When we had this 137, we still shepherded the ship. And I must admit here, for the first time on TV, that when the NPP infamous 87 plus MPs took the stand, trust me, it calmed down some tempers that were considering chaotic situations in this country. I can't share all the intelligence related to our decision, but it was to let Ghanaians, to side with Ghanaians to a certain extent at the expense of our own seats, so that we could save the day. So I'm calling on leadership, the Ayarigas, the Afenyomakin, and then the Speaker and the Executive to carefully sit down and know that they are the gatekeepers of this democracy. And for that matter, I speak not as a MPP man this morning, but as a nationalistic person, that we need to guard this democracy very well. It looks kind of interesting and funny, and to see him yesterday thank people in the gallery. I mean, listen, there were students in the gallery initially, and when our men started misbehaving, the students were asked to walk out. And Parliament is not student politics. We are bringing the standards too low. And I personally am worried it should be more intellectual, more honorable in its delivery of arguments, in its delivery of thought process, and I worry. So we should be the last.
I think student politics has gotten better of late. I mean, what
I'm saying is that the stakes,
but for Parliament,
the stakes involved in student politicking is not the same as the country, and every decision. I mean, I made this comment on one of my high-level platforms that one bad decision has ripple effects.
Yeah.
And I say this, what led up to the Bagbin becoming, Speaker of Parliament. I mean, just one bad decision by people who voted some MPs out, blah, blah, blah. I mean, that's where it all starts, for various reasons. And then we had the 137, 138, quote unquote, have the voters learned? No. If the voters haven't learned, how about the political elite class? And you see, when chaos erupts, nobody is safe.
Yeah.
I mean, you might not be able to even catch a plane, and nowhere is enjoyable than home now, based on what's happening in other places, including the Americas or even Europe. And we need to preserve the democracy we have and to be a shining star. Right now, globally, the eyes are on Ghana because we've had almost, besides the coast, all the neighboring countries literally have had attempted overthrows. And to see Nkrumah's Ghana still standing without this, I really am on my knees begging both parties to manage ourselves carefully, to guard the democracy we have, and this is to the judiciary. In as much as you're being colored, and hear me out, rumor has it that they will empanel many more people who are, a bit skewed to, the NDC fraternity. But I worry, this winner takes all approach doesn't help governance, and you need the opposition to call your attention home when you are departing from good governance. And I always say this about Obama. When he had chances to veto, he won't do it. He'll go down to engage the opposition, to find sense in what they are trying to say, and then to also let them see from where his standpoint is. And I really think that I'm hoping one thing that the speaker will do when they close this sitting, he'll give, I know what he'll do, he'll give like a 2-page reason for his decision to vacate the seat. And we cannot wait now for the end. I need to hear that as early as today, his reason for being the one to rather inform the EC that there's a vacant seat. Many a times when there's a death, it has been the case. And let me tell you this interesting thing. Even in death, because of our tradition, we don't rush to go and inform the EC. Sometimes, yes, because just the announcement, the official announcement, even requires that you need a death certificate, really, to do all of these things. So it's been the experience that when there's a death in Parliament, we all know, we hear in the news, but administrative-wise, the clerk has to inform the EC. And this is one of the few moments, I'm yet to check, where Parliament itself rather informs the EC that, hey, based on a court order, the former NPP MP who was arrested was also a similar scenario, but that one was for criminal offenses. And those are one of the categories that you become a non-MP. But this case, oh my goodness, I'm really down by it, and I feel terrible, terrible. One, I think that this judgment was way delayed, and this is why election-related matters should be dealt expediently and efficiently. I'm sure that MPP's reaction to this would have been very different if this decision had been made, 2 months.
It is right now.
2 months, or even before swearing in. But who knows what.
That's where we are right now.
That's where we are. So these are my few submissions or words, as I would call it.
All right, I'll get into some of the messages, but let me get back to Doc. Doc,
yes,
we're going to see this happen again.
Well, the possibility is there, but before I get there, the possibility is there, but before I get there, I think I associate myself.
You bring petrol into everything. So don't bring petrol.
No, I'm not. I associate myself with most or some of the questions that's been made by Honorable Dickson. That look, it's important to ensure that our institutions work according to law. It's not for nothing that the framework of the law has been established for governance structures of this country. It is so that people don't act in excess of their powers or influenced by their parochial private interest in the conduct or actions that they take. The judiciary has been one that's come into the public for all manner of reasons, including particularly they are not being independent in some of the judgments or conduct or the way that they have carried themselves. Look, it's only an institution, and it is we that can, as citizens of this country, that can help shape the institution. It's also not for nothing that the Constitution establishes separation of powers. So the executive, the judiciary, and parliament. And all those institutions ought to be playing their roles effectively so that the whole can function well. But I have one simple answer for my brother. Look, I think that what the speaker did, the answer to what the speaker did yesterday by declaring the seat vacant, it's in Article 112, Clause 5. And I think I said this before. It says, whenever a vacancy occurs in Parliament, the clerk to the Parliament shall notify the Electoral Commission in writing within 7 days after the vacancy occurred. And a by-election shall be within 30 days after the vacancy occurred. So it's in black and white in the Constitution. Nothing untoward, not discretionary, simply an order from the Constitution. It was a constitutional mandate that he needed to exercise. Once the High Court had jurisdiction to litigate this case or adjudicate this case, and they did so, and judgment was pronounced, and the seat was declared vacant, literally, by the High Court. The Parliament and the Speaker had their hands are tied. Administratively, they just need to do what they have to do. They just need to. But again, I get the worry, not just that he has, but also the worry of many, persons. They are worried about the individual as well. Look, I mean, obviously, you've been elected parliamentarian, you are in Parliament. And then
11 straight months.
Yes, 11 straight months. And suddenly,
I said this is like deportation.
And suddenly,
deportation you are having from America.
You are having to now realize that you are no more parliamentarian. You get the point. But again, it's the law that we have established for ourselves, and there are very good reasons why such regulations and laws must exist. Otherwise, people will just do everything and anything to get there. And once they get there, they can be taken out. So for me, there ought to be some remedy. If elections are conducted in a manner that departs from the electoral laws of this country, they have to be carefully examined, and a decision taken on whether or not, there was wrongdoing. And in this case, the High Court and the judge felt that there was wrongdoing or there was improper conduct of the elections, and so they've declared it vacant. Look, another court, which is a higher court, maybe the Court of Appeal, if they file a substantive matter subsequently, can actually decide, overturn the decision, can overturn the decision from the High Court. Of the High Court. And in fact, the Constitution yet again makes provision for what should happen afterwards, even after the by-election has been concluded. Even after.
So it's not all lost yet.
No, it's not all lost yet.
Like the way
it's not all lost yet. In my country, it's not all lost yet.
The seeds. you look at the shades.
Yeah, it's not all lost yet. So in my
we've been here, done that, and we know. They say when it barks or what it does like a
when it looks like a dog, walks like a dog.
Like this. Don't take us there.
No, take us there. No,
you follow her to the slaughterhouse. Before you're gone.
I thought I was doing this to calm your nerves.
How do you calm my
and to give you hope.
This kind of hope.
But one critical thing
for restoration of that decision.
Honorable Enyimdam believes so much in what he stands to gain in all this.
Yeah.
In fact, on all the occasions that he's spoken, he's very confident that even if we go back to vote again, he's actually going to end up becoming.
And that's the thing. And really, that's the thing. Look,
no guarantee.
Look, no, but that's the thing. You know, Honorable.
No, but there's possibility of that as well.
I share his position, but let me also admit that we have voted for a presidency or an executive already, and that is telling on the people who vote.
Based on what we have seen in the last 11 months.
Who tend to want to do business with the executive. So you need to be mindful of that, the idea of having election for the presidency before parliamentarians, that whole question, what happens to the voters? Voters tend to behave different when they already know
who the president is. Well,
so,
that could be a factor.
So you strongly believe, I'll come to Richard, you strongly believe that the NDC has a chance in this if we decide that we'll go for it?
Well, yes. I mean, the seat has, for the most time, been an NDC seat. For the most time, been an NDC seat. And so obviously, the NDC, and the votes, the margins were not that huge. I mean, 3,000. Just a little over 3,000.
If we don't partake.
You understand that? Just a little over 3,000.
Is that a possible decision? We just say, let's just leave it for them.
If we don't partake, they'll declare the NDC, the MP.
Well,
if you do
without an election.
You are signaling that NPP you won't participate?
Well, I mean, listen, in principle, I think that in principle, we are not to partake.
Okay. Right.
I just have to be straight with you.
But obviously, whether they partake or not, because of the the history behind that seat, the possibility is that the NDC could win that seat. Again, it's not a seat that the NDC is so much sought after. I mean, we are...
Are you saying this here?
No! We are in a very comfortable lead. I mean, that seat doesn't make... It's negligible in terms of what it will add to us.
And that is why the judicial decision should...
You see, it's negligible.
And probably even let it go.
No, but of course, it's
because
justice and fairness.
It doesn't really add much.
I mean, but the judiciary has a responsibility to do justice to the issues quite clearly, and that's why we are all asking for
regardless of
whether or not.
Do you need SAL like that?
SAL, well, I think we did at the time. We did, but now the circumstances are different. We don't really.
So you guys literally want to reduce.
You understand that? Except that on the face of the facts, the case had to be taken to court, and the aggrieved person did. Unfortunately, for them, he got judgment in his favor.
It's a painful time to be on this side.
For me, I mean, when everything is said and done, and I agree with him, when everything is said and done, Ghana must stand. Ghana must stand. The supreme interest of Ghana must stand. This is the only home that we have.
Yeah.
I mean, getting after each other, beyond certain thresholds are unnecessary, if you ask me. They are completely unnecessary. I mean, and like I have said, look, on both sides of the aisle, whether in parliament, in private life, these are persons that actually support each other.
Yeah.
In fact, I can tell you that perhaps there are people who are friends on the other side that they are so close to, even more than many people in their own party.
It happens.
Not that it happens, it's just that. Many, all of us
Myself and Mutala.
Yes, all of us, we have that.
I think
so for me, at the end of the day, yes, it's important to be fair to the facts. It's important to do a bit of the politics. But the thresholds should be limited to the extent that, it doesn't look exactly, to the extent that it doesn't look like it's threatening the foundations of our democracy. And then for me, we are not there, not close to that place where the foundations of our democracy are being supported.
It's being tested every day.
No, but we are not there on this particular matter in terms of the foundation of our democracy being tested. We are not there. I mean, we are just basically following the legalities of prescribed by the Constitution, etc., etc., etc. And for me, they are doing a good job by the initial applications that they have done. They are, and I would have wished that they had perhaps pursued that path and come to Parliament and show the people of this country, exactly what is contained in the appropriations, and why some appropriations may not be justified, and perhaps play the accountability role or responsibility as bestowed on them as an opposition. You understand? Because that process would better streamline expenditures and ensure that only well-meaning expenditures that are adding value to the development of this country are approved.
Okay. Rich.
Yeah. All right.
They've given you enough reason to believe that things will work.
Well, sincerely, I don't believe so. I don't believe so.
The two of them are not.
Sincerely, we still have a very long way to go as a country. And we are still of the view that we need to let them understand that if you build a country based strictly on the duopoly, we may not be going anywhere. Because you see, the banter is too much.
The ones seem to be doing better based on the previous administration, if you like. Is that not something you want to?
Yes, we cannot want to believe in the fact that NDC is not trying to use excessive power.
Okay.
They are trying to be a bit decorous. They are trying to be fair. They are trying to give an even playing ground. Like Doc is saying that, yeah, they may not be too much enthused about the Kpandai seat because they already have absolute majority in Parliament. But someone who lost an election petitioned the High Court seeking remedy. And the High Court declared that I'm nullifying the entire process, go back and rerun it. Now, because he is in Parliament, they inform Parliament, the House of Parliament, that yes, we've nullified this election. Therefore, we are seeking for the EC to completely rerun the entire election. Initially, the majority side were pushing the Speaker to quickly declare the seat vacant, which he turned it down and followed the due process. After about 7 days, he went ahead, notified Electoral Commission that, yeah, the seat is now officially vacant. So sincerely, I don't see where the hue and cry came from the side of the minority. Because, like I said earlier on, if you have any agitation, I don't think it is the House of Parliament that you need to raise those concerns. Perhaps you can do it in any other many forms and raise your concern. It could be demonstrations, it could be anything that you think deemed fit for you.
But disrupting the works of the House of Parliament is a big deal if you want your case to be heard.
But the decision doesn't lie.
That is where you actually have that power.
The decision doesn't lie in the belly of the Speaker of Parliament. He is being mandated by the High Court, and he cannot decide to do what? Disrespect the decision of the High Court. So he is following suit what the procedures are. So if you have any agitation, it shouldn't be in the House of Parliament because you know that one will be an exercise in futility.
But going out to demonstrate might not also necessarily give them.
No, maybe that one you are
results they are looking for.
But will this one give you
doing it in the House of Parliament is a big deal. It's a different.
Like I said, it will still. You see, sometimes you see, there's a saying in local parlance that a sheep that is. You see, like a sheep, okay, that is dropping watery stool, okay, doesn't know that it's soiling its own back.
Okay.
You think that you are soiling the environment, but you are soiling your own buttocks. So whatever NPP is trying to do in an attempt to make their voices heard or to make a strong case that they disagree with the decision of the High Court and they disagree with the decision of the Speaker of Parliament to notify EC, at the end of the day, whatever you are trying to do, you may end up damaging your own reputation because the information out there, everybody is going after them. It looks more like they are trying to fight a fight that they cannot win. They know obviously they cannot win it. I get to that point.
Yeah.
And the more you do so, the more you are getting discontent by the people. The people are disassociating themselves from you because they believe that always you want to be heard when actually you don't have a case. So if you are organizing a national demonstration that we, the people of NPP, we disagree with the judge, that means you are tailoring your vengeance or your anger towards the judge and the decision of the judge, not the Speaker of Parliament. But in this case, it may look more like we are going after the Speaker of Parliament for notifying the Electoral Commission that the seat is declared vacant. And I'm sure that is the foundation of the argument.
The marshals had a very tough job yesterday.
Yes, and then again, my other key concern is that if NDC is talking about research, I'm waiting to hear about the Constitutional Review Committee that was established. When was the last time you heard about the government talking about the Constitution again? When was the last time you heard them talk about the Constitution?
Maybe they're still on the works. I mean,
in the initial stages, we're hearing the committee has been formed, the committee is working and blah, blah, blah. But now we are in December. Have you heard about the committee and their findings and their reports?
The point
I'm making is that the recommendations that we are making that should be factored into the Constitution review, which, for instance, when we have a problem with the presidential election, it is indicated that within a period of 3 months, there should be what? A final determination of the case. But when it comes to the members of parliament, there is no such thing. There is a complete ambiguity in that aspect. That nobody can give a clear-cut timetable to say that within a period of 3, 4, 5 months, we should be able to do what? Come to a determination about parliamentary elections. Like what Doc is saying, if assuming this issue had come earlier, like let's say 3 months after the election, do you think all these agitations will arise? So all I'm trying to say that a reset of a country can never materialize if the constitution that governs us is not clearly looked at. The constitution is the foundation of the country. So we should make all the necessary requirements that we need to infuse into the constitution that will make it much more stronger. Are you getting the point?
Yeah.
So if, for instance, the constitution is going to say that there should be an election tribunal that will be established in all the 275 districts, okay, empowered, resourced, so that any election grievances that arise within a period of 2-3 months, it should be dealt with. Wouldn't the constitution have cured any of this ambiguity?
I'm sure Prof. Prempeh and his team, in the community.
And there are so many things that we have identified.
Come out.
There are so many things that we have identified. Even we from the United Party, we have written to the Constitutional Review Committee, proposing some few amendments that we think that if it is done, it will be in the ultimate interest of the country. Because if we say you have a country to govern and we are protecting the country, institutions has to work. Where do the institutions derive their powers from? From the Constitution. So that at the end of the day, there should not be any form of ambiguity as far as our electoral processes are concerned. If at the end of the day, that doctor has just read that yes, Parliament is supposed to write to EC, and they have done that, and everybody knows well, explicitly, that this is the procedure, why should there be any agitation in Parliament?
All right, let me try and do some few comments from our viewers as well, and then we'll come back, maybe have our wrapping our comments, and then we'll be done for the day. I'll start off with this one, which is coming from Achu. It says, good morning, Mr. Host. The NPP are losing ground in Parliament. The rerunts in Kpandai will surely they should go back and campaign. They should learn from what happened in Abrikuma. Last minute is dangerous. My regards to Honorable Joti. And that's from Katamanso New Bridge. Okay. All right, let me go to the next one over here. And it's from Abdul Ghani Makarigo from Savannah region. It says, I truly admire this minority. They are resolute and always ready to stand up for what is right. They should maintain this energy. We fully support them. Unfortunately, the speaker and the majority are creating a troubling precedent, and it pains me to see the threat this poses to our democracy. They seem more willing to override the will of the people, and it's heartbreaking to witness. How did we end up here? And it says, once again, God bless the minority. They have demonstrated competence and remained steadfast in defending what is right. They deserve commendation. Kudos to the minority for upholding due process. Parliament must honor the rule of law and respect the mandate of the people of Kpandai. Their stance underscores the need for justice and transparency that strengthen our democracy system. A calm, principled, and commendable effort. All right, let me go to the next one over here. It says, good morning, Joy Prime. Sometimes if I sit down to think about the behavior of some MPs, I feel very sad in this country. Constituents will queue to vote for representation, and you go there and defending another MP with a court order. Lawmakers or lawbreakers. I can tell you, if election is conducted today, 37% of NPP MPs won't be in parliament. Kabila Kadema sent in that as well. This one over here says, and that's a very long one, it says, good morning, KMJ. What happened yesterday, though not the first time, should be condemned at every level. It's disheartening to see people we address as honorables to keep putting on unacceptable behaviors like this. The minority should have taken a clue from their massive loss in 2024 election, but it's unfortunate they haven't. They should remember that the Ghanaians today are not like the Ghanaians yesterday. We now take so many things into consideration before voting for whom we want to. How will they explain what they did yesterday to any child or their children who gets the opportunity to ask them what was happening in Parliament where he or she was seen to be a part? Minorities making some of us take part in politics by force. I'm not a politics person, but the minority's behavior is making me dislike NPP as a party. This isn't what they should be doing, but rather making the majority account and do their work, the work they promised as Ghanaians. They should better change it before it's too late. They should at least give the Ghanaians, give the speaker some respect. That man is way experienced and older than them. And as Ghanaians, respect is a virtue. People look out from everyone. They tend to be disrespected today, and it will be for some of them tomorrow. Ramatu from Tamale sent in that. Let me go to the next one over here. It says, good morning, KMJ and your panelists. I'm a big Alaska from Garu, Timpani. My greetings to all the youth in Timpani constituency. Honorable Joseph Mbila, DC of Timpani. Some of our parliamentarians, especially the NPP side, are disgracing Ghanaians. All right. Good morning, KMJ. In fact, the NPP made everything simple for the NDC yesterday. Whatever was approvable was approved. The question I want to ask the minority this morning is, what has their actions achieved yesterday? These were the very people who were shouting to go to court, and some few months ago. Today, what happened? Are the courts no more in existence, or those good courts they were supporting are now bad, that they can no longer take rulings from them again? Master Roman Sola Tunak sent in that one. Let me go to this one from Dachi, and he says that he's watching from a Jumako as a son. It says, I suggest the micro-minority should go and find the judge who ruled the case at the High Court. It was disgraceful to see them behave like that in the chambers. Honorable is so patriotic this morning. He has put his MPP aside and is speaking as Ghanaian. Let's build this nation together. But, I mean, Honorable Dickson has always been, very straightforward with what he believes in, is right or wrong. I am not surprised at the behavior of the micro-COVID-86 minority in Parliament yesterday. If the NPP was leadership, I don't think they would put this destructive, childish, and unpatriotic behavior. I salute the matured minds NDC supermajority and their wise leader, Ayariga. In fact, the NPP has no shame at all, and that must be punished by their constituents come 2028 from the unmatchable communication officer for Kintampon of Honorable Charles Jinde. Let me go to this one over here. It says, good morning, KMJ. In fact, I'm really loving the communicators of the UP party. They are full of wisdom, passion, and know their work as politicians who want development for their country and citizens. You can see in their delivery anytime they have the opportunity. They are gradually winning my heart. They should keep it up because Ghana needs them to correct the wrongs. Okay, that's one for Richard. Nana Akuyamwa Boateng Ablekuma Central says, good morning, KMJ. NDC MPs in Parliament is increasingly becoming intolerant. Honorable Matthew Anyindam has filed court processes at the Appeals Court and Supreme Court. So why is the Speaker hastily declared Kpandai seat as vacant? The Speaker should be blamed for any chaos that happens in Parliament. Anyway, fantastic greetings to Commander Moses Abo, NPP National Organizer Hopeful, and Musa in Asawasi says, good morning, KMJ. The shameful conduct of the micro-minority was annoying and disgusting, reducing Parliament to such a low level. The very people who once touted themselves as apostles of the rule of law, those who eat, drink, bath, and sleep at the courts are today behaving lawlessly. They have quickly forgotten about the Honorable Jachikwesin case. Their sudden disregard for due process exposes the political expediency behind their actions. It is disappointing and dangerous for our democracy. Good morning, KMJ and your respected panelists. Pattering the Kpandai elections court ruling, Mr. Richard's take is misleading. It was minority leader who started at NDC polling stations, according to candidate was seeking for two reliefs from the High Courts. The entire annulment of the 41 polling stations, according to the NDC Deputy Election Directorate, Mr. Computer Karim Starboy in Tema sent in that one. All right, thanks for sharing that with us. This one over here says the conduct of the minority in Parliament yesterday was not only worrying, but it was a shameful desecration of our democratic space. If this same level of unruly, ungovernable behavior had come from any other institution, these very MPs would have been the first to condemn it, yet they turn around and exhibit the exact lawlessness they pretend to abhor. The truth is simple. We are wasting national resources on a parliament whose current crop of members, particularly on the minority side, have abandoned reason and responsibility. Many of them are lawyers who fully understand the law, the authority of court rulings, and the legitimate avenues available to express dissent, but instead of acting with dignity, they resort to needless noise-making and disorder. The chaotic display is unwarranted, unnecessary, and utterly disrespectful to the citizens who placed them in Parliament. Ghanaians deserve lawmakers, not political actors, staging the street-level drama inside the chamber. Daniel Akwaliok from Sandema. You guys have got an opportunity this morning to give to parliamentarians like this, eh? Good morning, KMJ. Please, in the person of Idris Mubarak from Damango, I want you to kindly extend my humble greetings to my dependable boss, Dr. Dramani Bukari, for his excellent submissions. Keep making us proud, my venerable boss. The sky is your limit, inshallah. And that's one for Doc as well. Akwasi Gariba from Tamale says, good morning, KMJ. Why should 41 polling stations which had the problem should lead to the cancellation of 152 polling stations in Kpandai? Is it that the High Court judge in Tamale is an NDC judge promised by President Mahama in opposition to pack the courts of Ghana with the NDC judges? It is indeed President Mahama is surrounded by sycophants who would not tell him the truth, especially where President Mahama is leading the country to. Who would have thought that President Mahama could have sacked the CJ of Ghana without much resistance? Ghana would be interesting if there's change of power. You people keep saying the change of power will bring another thing and all that. Master Planner Jr. says the minority members are doing a fantastic job. We are so proud of them. Those condemning them should go and watch the video. Did the minority members start the pushing? They were only standing on their feet to show their displeasure and also withdraw cooperation with the other side. The NDC members rather went attacking them by pushing them to go and sit down. The majority members of NDC or NDC MPs should be called to order. They always cause chaos and pretend to be innocent. Kudos to the mighty minority. And this one over here says, good morning, panelists. I have seen that the NDC want to use their numbers to manipulate Parliament and overturn the Constitution to favor JM to continue third term, which can lead to ... NDC should be mindful that we are in democratic country. David from Sibila. David, why didn't you complete your... You don't know what to type, eh? Please, this is what happened in Kpandai, and the court is right to have called for rerun. If the NPP thinks that this is what they can do for Kpandai not to develop, they should stop it. We, the people of Kpandai, will vote. Okay, so that, are you in Kpandai, by the way? Maybe by saying we the people, but I just want to confirm. What a question by Suma. Who will fund the rerun? I also asked the past reruns, who funded them? That's Kofi Annan issue. In the counter-attack to your rerun funding. Micro-minority MPs decided to cause mayhem and disrupt parliament business yesterday, but they were disgracefully ignored by the majority side. I also heard Anodom Prayer crying and screaming bitterly on the floor of parliament that they are not going to cooperate with the government and they will make sure the government business suffer. And I asked myself, how are they going to make the government business suffer with their irrelevant numbers? Or have they forgotten their numbers out of frustration with their, they need to wake up in case they are sleeping? Again, I want to know the role of Deputy Minority Leader, Honorable Patricia PJ. I have never seen or heard her leading the minority whenever Afenyomaken is not available in Parliament. I have never even heard her making strong arguments in the Parliament before. Why? I need answer. I don't want to guess. You must be an NPP to be asking this kind of question, by the way. I'm not saying you are, but if you wanted to speak for better understanding, I'm thinking that you are part of the NPP. Good morning to you. The Bank of Ghana BOG, in collaboration with the Criminal Investigation Department, the CID, has launched an intensified enforcement operation targeting illegal foreign exchange traders in Accra, including areas such as Tudu and Kwame Nkrumah Circle. 41 suspect Ghanaian foreign nationals have been arrested for unauthorized currency dealing. This action is crucial for maintaining financial stability, as these illegal operations are known to facilitate the speculation and infiltration of counterfeit currencies into the economy. Aaron Babako Kokomisa sent in that one. Yes, and DCOP Yako Donko has been doing some great job with that as well. So yeah. Good morning, host and panelists. It's disappointing to see how the minority is behaving in Ghana's political landscape. The NPP has become so unattractive since 2022, and sadly, the party leaders don't seem to recognize this. Just a few months ago, they acted as if Ghana was heaven. If they continue on this path, the party will collapse, and very soon, UP party will take their place in Ghanaian politics. Just look at the behavior of Reverend Intim Fodjo Abbas from Kumawu and Son of Boko actually sent in that. Maybe I'll do my last one and then we'll wrap up for this morning. It says, good morning, KMJ. If my memory is right, it was discussed that the petitioner wanted a rerun in the whole constituency due to the errors identified, and the judge's examination of the EC documents found same, and not only the 41 polling stations. And that's Eric from Ho sending in that. And okay, this one says, good morning. Good morning, KMJ. Do you remember what happened in the last 8th Parliament when Honorable Sam George led a march? It's quite hypocritical today. These NDC foot soldiers are making noise as if they are wise. They supported worse actions from the NDC. Abdul Razak's message I just read. This one over here says, Jachukwesin remained in Parliament until his case was finally determined under Speaker Gbagben. The government WhatsApp group is very quiet. Why the silence? They are part of the government after all. Given the parliamentarian drama, I imagine the workers on that platform are buzzing, maybe even a bit uneasy about how the mighty minority is playing things. My response to Ramatu, haven't the last 4 years shown us plenty worse? And didn't they still win the 2024 election? And that's Bookman Anobil sending in that. And okay, I think that I've done almost all your messages today. I've really tried today. Yes. We needed to make their voices heard as well. So great stuff. Maybe we'll do our last comments before we go. I'm not sure if I have too much time to wrap it all up, but maybe we'll just do our very last comments and then we'll go. Richard, let me start with you. People are very excited about UP. As much as you are excited about what you guys are.
Oh, well, it's not about UP per se, but I keep saying that building the country is a collective responsibility of all and sundry. And as a democracy that is so young as ours, we need to have many more participators in the political space. And we cannot want to go the path of the United States, where it's a two dominant parties, Democrats and Republicans. Because you see, in these jurisdictions, there are tailored programs which is meant for radical, transformative development of the people. There are countries that are running 100-years-old democracies, and you see that there is enough tangibles that they can beat their chest to. But we live in a country called Ghana. You know, some time back, we used to talk about children studying under trees. As at today, when was the last time we hear anybody talking about the plethora of schools that are still under trees, the children that are still studying under trees, the children that are still lying on their belly to write exams, mothers who are still finding it difficult to even pay for their maternity fees to get them discharged from hospitals. You see, Ghana's problems, it goes beyond these two political parties who create the impression that one is better than the other. They are all the same people. Okay? But at the end of the day, the basic core issues that meet the heart and soul of the citizens, they throw it to the dogs. Now, today, we talk about 24-hour economy. I sincerely believe in that policy. I sincerely believe that it can become a catalyst for job creation, for us to take off the numerous youth on the streets. Because, see, the last budget, the finance minister told us that industries grew by 3.2%. KMG. Any country that industry is growing by 3.2%, how do you intend to create the jobs? Because, you see, if you are creating jobs in only the services, they are not sustainable jobs. Services grew about 8%, and manufacturing grew at 3.2%. So, if manufacturing is growing at 3.2%, where are the jobs going to come from? Are you getting my point? We have the view that a serious country that wants to become an export-driven economy, that wants to create sufficient jobs, reasonable jobs, decent jobs for the people, manufacturing should not be doing anything less than 15%. And I'm pleading with the government to make it a conscious and a deliberate effort that at least by the time we get to 2027, industry should be doing not anything less than 10%. Because industry is the engine of the country. That is where you can create the jobs. But if industry is not growing and you're applying your money into paying people's university fees, buying sanitary pads, doing this and doing that, where are they going to create the jobs?
Okay. Richard,
so that is my only concern, that we are with them. Because we must support any government to do their best. We will not sit back and only criticize and criticize and criticize. We want to see them grow. We want to see them succeed. Sometimes when we talk like people say, oh, we are NDC people. NDC is funding us. NDC has not given Alan Kojo Shemate 1 Ghana cedis before.
Okay.
So at the end of the day, that impression should be squashed. But we will not sit and only criticize them. If they do good, we will talk about it and we'll commend them for it. Okay. And so far, the 1 year of John Dramani Mahama's government, we from the United Party think that he has done a yeoman's job.
Super transformation.
All right, Richard, thank you.
He has done a yeoman's job. Because you see, leadership,
only 5 minutes
leadership is not only about bread and butter. Leadership is not only about bread and butter issues. Leadership is about the character of the leader himself.
Richard, your point well made. Honorable has also 2 minutes to do this. I'm told we have just 5 minutes to go, so I will just share.
Oh my God.
Richard has done.
Yeah, he's done a lot. But invariably, I mean, I can't leave here without saying good morning to Dr. Brady Champo.
Awesome.
I think that considering the challenges we have in our party, the indiscipline, he stands as a strong candidate to return our party to discipline, and then more importantly, the rift between the Atachias, the Ambronias, and the Kennedys. I think that he serves as a middle ground and a new beginning for the party. And I think we should give him a chance. He has the charisma, the temperament, and the looks of a president. So I'm pleading with it.
Why is Doc looking like this?
Well, I mean, listen.
Looks like
looks matter. Let me tell you, looks matter.
Yeah.
In politics.
Yeah.
Yes, looks matter. So I'll plead with the delegates, those who are listening today. They have a very crucial role this time. Their decision will push us forward and help us win 2028 or disseminate the party. So they have a very key role to play. They shouldn't look at it as an ordinary election. They decide whether the party stays or we get broken. So I would leave these few words with them, that they should do introspection and vote to keep the party together. And I think that Dr. Brian Champon, by virtue of him being a middle ground person, will bring both sides together.
Awesome.
So that we don't run into, after election, this side wants to clear this side wants to clear this side. He will bring the two together. And that's
okay, very well. Thank you very much. Doc.
By virtue of being on the show with Honorable Dickson
NPA.
Today, I want to wish him and his candidate well.
Thank you.
On the 31st of January.
I want myself to wish them very well.
On the 31st of January 2026.
Yeah.
But again, I want to assure listeners and assure my colleague Richard here that, quite frankly, this government is determined at restructuring the economy of this country. And we can already see that by the very strategic programs that are being run. You see the main corridor routes are being opened up. It's not for nothing, just so that this country can be, can be linked up to the extent that trade can actually be facilitated, and that actually the farmers who are producing, and you see the lots of investments that are going into agriculture today, not just at the primary agricultural level, but also the processing level. And he's talking about industry. Manufacturing is key. A lot of the agricultural, factories that were defunct are now being revived. And for me, processing is key. Look, if we can do this and do this well, we will reduce drastically our food import bill, which will have a direct impact on the performance of our currency, direct impact on inflation, and which will immediately put money in the pockets of this country, beyond the pockets of the people of this country, beyond the jobs that will be unleashed by such programs. And for me, I want to assure the people of this country that the government of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama needs their support to ensure that we deliver the reset agenda, so that when any other government misconduct itself in the future, as we have seen in the recent past, we will see it well, because the difference would have been very clear, and the lines on who is developing this country and moving it forward, and who is blurring the lines along misdirecting and underdeveloping this country would have been very clear. And that the people of this country going forward, well, perhaps, and look, whether we like it or not, we will continue to see the dominance of the two parties in this country. But it would appear to me that if we don't take time, by the way that the previous government conduct themselves, if it continues, given another opportunity, maybe in the next 30 years, it could become a single-party state. We don't want that. But that potential is there.
That is not
because,
possible.
look, we are getting there where His Excellency's government, the current NDC government, will so very much distinguish itself. I am waiting to see in 4 years. I can't wait to see in 4 years the level of development that will be unleashed. And the people of this country will be so grateful that they actually gave His Excellency the opportunity, the privilege
I don't want
to lead
to go
this country.
into the tariffs. 9% tariff.
Well, we are here.
We are here. 30%, 25%.
For a single party
A lot of things went into it. And
possible.
we did so, one, with the ordinary Ghanaian in mind, and
I'm not the host.
and two, with the spirit of industrialization in mind.
All right.
So industry can be pushing.
We're still
It's the barest minimum anywhere.
They've slapped that with 9%.
That's under the circumstances. You know what ECU was looking for?
They tried to justify that with...
after taking one Ghana at the pop.
We did under 10%.
One Ghana for your pocket.
They tried to justify that with...
After one Ghana for your pocket.
Under 10%.
They want to make...
One Ghana for your pocket.
Anyway,
I mean, you should be commenting.
That'll be all for this morning. That'll be all for this morning. A big thank you to Dr. A big thank you to Dr. Bukari for joining us this morning. He's the chief.
Part of the one city, we are still managing.
Richard Suma joined us from United Party, and I had Honorable Dickson also joining us this morning here on the show. So, gentlemen, thank you so much for making time for me this morning. I really appreciate it.